Okay, so tonight I shot a quick tour of my old Taekwondo dojang, the one that I actually started doing Taekwondo in. My parents live about 45 minutes away. I took my kids to see my parents and was randomly driving through different areas that I grew up in and ended up coming into driving past my Taekwondo school. And there's a car there, and I was like, well, I'm going to stop by because the lights were on. And one of the instructors there now I actually was taught when she was a white belt years ago. She's now a third degree, two-time world champion in sparring, and she was there and working out, and I got to stop in and check it out. And it's probably been 6 or 7 years since I've been there last, and so I went through and looked at everything just to see if much changed, and not a lot changed. And one of the nice things was I had her take a kick pick because I hadn't been in there and since I started my school, and to be there and kind of sit there and think through the feelings that I felt back when I was a white belt was pretty amazing. It brought back a lot of emotions that I really hadn't felt in so long. And I remember walking into that place in 1996. It was August of 1996, and me and my dad walked in and met Dr. Skelton, who was my original Taekwondo instructor, and he introduced me to some people who were influential in my martial arts life. And walking in that door to the back room, you'll see it. It's in the office. There's a doorway. I don't mention it, but there's a door. You'll have to take a look. It was just kind of surreal being there, knowing what I know now and doing all the things that I've done. My martial arts school now is 5 years old, and I've promoted over 20 people to black belt, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about starting from 0 students, working a part-time or working a full-time job and doing that on the side, it meant a lot to me. And I still actively have training 15 black belts, and thinking that I started as a white belt. I remember putting on that whole white uniform, that whole white dobak, and putting on the skeleton patch and the kicking pick. You'll see the skeleton patch in the background, and putting on the ATA patch was very, very interesting for me. And you know, thinking through all the things of wanting to get my black belt. And then you'll see the room with the blue carpet where that's where I received my black belt. That's where I did my training. That's where I did everything. And that was all we had. It was a small room, and I did all my training there. My parents and my sister and watched me test for black belt there. And I met my best man in my wedding. I met him on that same carpet. It's very interesting, and to think through, how badly I wanted to have a martial arts school at the time, and then now owning a martial arts school and getting to travel the country and meeting all these amazing martial artists is very humbling. And it's just an amazing adventure that I've been on over the last 22 years that I've done martial arts. And so I wanted you to be able to check out my old martial arts school. It's a lot smaller than I remember it being. I remember feeling so big, and now it's, honestly, it's probably a little bit smaller than my martial arts school is. It's in a small town. The population's 8,000 people, but they've got about 40 students that train there. So that's, a good amount of students for that size of a population. I think they could do a little bit better. And I'd love to see them hit that 100 student mark, and that would be amazing. So take a look at the school and kind of see where I started, and I'll throw in some kick picks and see if I can find some other old photos and things like that from back in the day, so that way we can kind of get some context to where I was and what it looked like before. Check it out. Also, don't forget that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button too. Alright, so real quick, I randomly stopped by my old dojang, my old Taekwondo school where I started in 1996. This place had green carpet. If you notice, there's still carpet on the floors, and there weren't any of these trophies. When I started, there was no white walls. It was all just old wood paneling in here. It's still wood paneling in here. They just painted it white and gave it blue trim, but there was none of this. There was a lot of green in here before. And when I started, this was it. That whole training floor in there did not exist. And so we would come in here, and our parents sitting here, and again, I'm going to bow here just because I'm so used to bowing there. When we would come in this small hallway, there were changing rooms here, and this was the parent area. This whole little section right here wasn't here. And there used to be a small little TV right here. And that TV, I'm sorry, there was a refrigerator and a small TV on it, like a 13-inch TV that had a video feed into the main training area. And this is kind of where they would, we would all sit. We would all just sit in here before classes and wait for the classes to be ready in there. And there's these little windows that we could actually hear through. And we would wait for our classes, and we had 3 classes a night. We had like a white, like a beginner, intermediate rank, and then a intermediate to advanced rank, and then we had an adult class. And so we would do all of our kicking from here. And when I was coming up through the ranks, they would kick me from wall to wall in here. It's hard to kind of get perspective. That's a ATA bag there on the floor. You can kind of get a little bit of perspective that way. And my baby girl's getting a little upset. She's been here with me for too long. I'm going to show you the bigger training floor now. It's about the same size as ours. There you go. It's about the same size as ours. And this is where I think we after about 5 or 6 years, we added all of this on. I actually helped build this little building here and do some of the electrical paneling or electrical work with my dad. And so yeah, we did a little bit of this, and I've got a little seating area in here. So I got a seating area here, bathroom over here, and then 2 changing rooms over here as well. And it's funny, I actually, when my wife and I were here, we actually took some of my photos for our engagement in here because Kylan would come and watch me train every Thursday night, and I would come and train here. Brings back memories.